Mandaron alino, credit noi merenire.
Are you ready to go to a country that is not of this world? The story of the Vikings or even the Mongols? Of white and grey and green to his country? The land of the northern lights and eternity, where day and night alternate and only the strongest survive? Where only 56,000 people live, so a woman can marry 3 men if necessary? Get ready for one of the most extraordinary journeys in the world in Greenland, because you will feel the cold to your bones. Greenland, the largest non-continental island in the world, has an area of 2,166,000 square kilometers. 81% of the country is covered by ice and only 56,000 people live there. You can see an icebreaker ship heading to Greenland in March. This ship must reach the Greenlandic towns quickly with the supplies it carries, or there could be a brutal famine. Since almost no fruit and vegetables grow in the country, they have to come from Denmark. It has to come from Denmark because Greenland is not independent, but a special territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. Formerly Danish in 1814, the country is internally independent, but still recognizes Danish rule and Queen Margrethe II. All health, safety and infrastructure in the country is provided by Denmark. Although the houses in Greenland are colorful, their exteriors are quite plain and monotonous. The reason for this is about taking precautions against the cold before aesthetics. Otherwise, temperatures that can drop to 60 degrees can turn you into a block of ice in a few minutes. In addition, no one can own land here, so much so that after you submit your project and the location where you will build your house to the local municipality, you start your construction with the approval you receive. But as soon as you leave your door, everywhere is the property of the state. It is very interesting, but here you can see that a woman is married to 3 men. I know you were surprised when you first heard about it, but in Greenland, survival is at the heart of everything. The fact that almost the entire population lives from hunting creatures such as whales, seals, and reindeer, that the main source of food is what nature gives you, and that even the majority of clothes and household items are still made from animal skins and bones, makes it imperative that there is a woman at home to run this order while the men are on the hunt. There is even an official state institution for this, so much so that a man who cannot find anyone to marry because of the population applies to the marriage institution and asks for a suitable wife to be found for him. But if the result is negative, someone else's wife takes on the task of running the household with her 2nd or 3rd husband. But do not be confused. These marriages are not official, do not involve sexuality, and are very rare. In fact, otherwise that society cannot survive. The situation is entirely due to the fact that the Greenland natives see marriage as a joint work. In fact, even calling it marriage with 2nd and 3rd husbands is an ill-chosen term. The nomenclature is really amazing, but many things can become mundane when it comes to survival. A few Viking explorers discovered Iceland, but they did not feel the need to settle. But a famous Viking nobleman covered in red skin was sentenced to exile for a murder he committed during his years in Iceland, and he was sentenced to exile in the 980s. He sails to that faraway country he heard about in legends and discovers Greenland, which he will name Greenland. Contrary to popular belief, he did not call it Greenland, the Green Country, because he found it in the summer months. He spent 3 years in Greenland, explored important parts of the country, and saw the difficult conditions here and the cold in detail to all its dimensions, but he could not convince people and bring them here. According to Viking legends, Plum Red returns from exile and comes to Iceland, where he tells the freemen that he has discovered a lush green country and convinces them to come with him. 21 ships set out on a voyage, and 14 of them reach the country safely, and the other Vikings laugh at Plum Red and say that this is a lush green country where there is no green at all, and the name Greenland remains, and it is no longer easy for them to return, and the freemen begin to settle here. But who knows, maybe Greenland was named Greenland because of this view that the girls encountered. Greenland is home to some of the most extraordinary landscapes in the world, and the Northern Lights are one of them. Think about it. When you raise your head, you will see a sky that is more beautiful than you can imagine. In the 13th century, the Inuits, or Eskimos, as they were more crudely called, began to settle in Greenland. Thousands of years ago, they crossed the Bering Strait to Alaska. The majority of the people who settled in Canada were Mongolian and Siberian peoples, and they began to settle in Greenland in the 13th century, so much so that today, 88% of Greenland's population is Inuit, and their language, even today, is so similar to the Ural-Altaic language family that in Greenlandic, mother is mother and father is ancestor and ancestor. Although a significant part of the Inuits people have nowadays converted to Christianity, there is a large population that continues to practice shamanism. In various parts of the country you can see places of worship dedicated to Tengri Inuits. Were subjected to a secret genocide for many years. A woman who went to a doctor because she could not get pregnant saw that a spiral had been inserted into her uterus. She did not know about it. In the researches carried out, it was revealed that doctors from Denmark systematically carried out such practices consciously to reduce the reproductive rate of the Eskimos. In this way, the birth rate in the Eskimos, that is, Inuits, had dropped from 7 to 2. In response to the reports, the Danish government recently launched an investigation dating back to the 70s. Let's see what comes out. In this huge country, the total length of the highway is 150 kilometers, so there are no highways between cities. Many settlements are disconnected during the winter months. In the past, transportation was provided by sledges, but now it has become a tourist attraction and sled dogs are not treated very well. Everyone has a car and a snowmobile, and snowmobiles have become the main means of transportation. Only a very small number of Inuit in the far north of the country use sled dogs as a real means of transportation. Greenland only has direct flights from Denmark and Iceland, and tickets are unbelievably expensive. It is not easy to find water in the country. As the temperatures are freezing throughout the year, municipalities deliver water to homes every few days for cleaning and other needs. In short, it's not easy to live in Greenland. As a matter of fact, family life is also in ruins, with almost half of the population experiencing domestic violence and early divorce. The lack of things to do during the day due to the cold has made the locals addicted to alcohol, and the age of drinking alcohol is below 18 years old, which increases this addiction. In 2001, police in the town of Kasila reported 15 incidents of domestic violence, 2 suicides, 4 suicide threats, and 6 other violent incidents in a short period of time. At the same time, local health officials reported that treatment for alcohol poisoning was at capacity and the government suspended alcohol sales in the town for 2 weeks. These short-term alcohol bans are often implemented in various regions. The constant overcast weather, sometimes for months at a time, and the excessive alcohol consumption that accompanies the void in the social environment have increased the rate of suicide and violence far above the world average. Life in Greenland, which is a great pleasure for us to watch from the outside, as the sound of the drum is pleasant from afar, is very, very difficult. Mostly Greenlanders, the new Inuits, 88% of the population, have their own way of life, and the companies here are run by Europeans, who are a minority, and if an Inuit doesn't show up for work for a few days, they have no right to say anything, because it's not easy to find a replacement and control a free society that is used to doing as they please. Greenlanders, the Inuits, are very friendly and hospitable people, and the most popular music genre in the country is rock. Don't be surprised to see even women over 60 listening to rock music with headphones. Although the level of education was very low in previous generations, the new generations have managed to improve themselves And at the same time, since they are Danish citizens, if they go to Denmark to study at university, all their expenses and costs are covered by the Danish state, which I think is a kind of colonial Denmark's effort to make the local people happy. However, there is no proper infrastructure. The ground is covered with hard rock and ice, which makes many means of communication, including the internet and telephone, problematic. In many cities, there is not even a garbage system. Garbage is dumped in an area adjacent to the city, and in winter it is snowed under, and in summer it is infested with crows. Television and internet are provided by satellite signals in every town and city. Therefore, internet speed is also very low and expensive in the country. The minimum wage in Greenland is 2,204 euros. If you are a skilled worker or technician, your salary can increase to 6,000 to 7,000 euros. And those who are engaged in fishing also earn a significant amount of money. Well, did you hear that Donald Trump wanted to buy Greenland for money when he was the American president? Trump's offer to buy Greenland was met with great reaction, and Donald Trump cancelled his visit to Denmark. In fact, there are still American military bases in the country. In Greenland, an American air base was established against the Nazis during the Second World War and continues its activities today as Pituffik Space Base. However, there is another secret base near this base. Established in 1958 with permission from Denmark for scientific experiments, the Century Camp was used to produce nuclear weapons and defense systems against the Soviets, rather than scientific experiments, when atomic activities were discovered by the Danish government. A secret base abandoned in 1968 and buried under the glaciers. The camp, which is built entirely under the glaciers, has enough facilities to enable a modern city to carry out all the activities of a modern city, consisting of power plants, workshops, offices, radio station, garages, garbage dump, building shops, hospital living areas, fitness center. At the heart of the Centenary Camp, there is even an atomic power plant that can provide light and heat for this city under the ice, so that soldiers can read and play records in comfortable rooms, lit by atomic power. Those wishing to visit the Century Camp today need special permission. The closure of the secret base brought with it many conspiracy theories, such as that secret studies on aliens are carried out here, that UFOs enter and exit, and that a huge hole has been drilled in the center of the Earth, which many people still believe in. But today, in the accessible areas of the base, we know that there are hundreds of kilometers of tunnels underneath, and nuclear missiles installed against the Soviet Union. The secret base, which is still mostly under glaciers, is feared to leak extremely radioactive waste to the entire world if the glaciers continue to melt. This interest of the Americans in Greenland is not only military, but also to ensure the control of unlimited, untouched underground resources, such as oil and natural gas. So it's the usual American stuff. Greenland is the land of the world's most extraordinary landscapes, the land of adventurers and explorers, the land of people who have to look at the world differently from everyone else and survive, where you can dive in the freezing seas where polar bears come with surprises, where you can go on an endless journey between the glaciers with ships, where you can dive in the freezing seas, where you can go on an endless journey between the glaciers, where you can still visit the planes that crashed years ago in the middle of the glaciers, where seals and reindeer can be seen everywhere. Unfortunately, in a very short time, all the glaciers in the country are expected to melt, which is an international problem that will open the door to major disasters both for the people there and for the rest of the world. I don't know if you will have the chance or need to go and see it before all this happens, but remember that Greenland is not of this world. It is the magical land of ice and loneliness. You are on the Interesting Topics channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more valuable content. See you in the next video.